Hi, I'm Lonnie again, and this is the Live Williston channel. Live stands for Local Issues, Voices, and Events. One of the upcoming events in our community of Williston, North Dakota is the upcoming election on Tuesday, June 9th, 2026. So mark your calendars, and my hope is that this video series helps equip people to make an informed decision specifically about the mayoral race that will be decided on June 9th. So in this video, I would like to delve into James Bervig with the basic structure of sharing some of my observations about the positive aspects of James and a couple of the concerns or reservations that I have about electing him to that mayoral position as well. And the other videos, I delve into the other candidates, so I encourage you to check out those as well. So for starters, I would say one of the obvious positives is that James is experienced with local self-government. He has served on the city commission these last 4 years. He has also been engaged in a variety of other ways in our community and in government. So as city commissioner, one of the city commissioners, he also serves on the county planning and zoning commission. So at least, I believe, 2 of the Williston city commissioners have to be on that county planning and zoning board. And he is one of the current city commissioners on that county planning and zoning board as well. As I understand, he is also he's demonstrated his service to the community in a variety of ways. That's another positive that I see with James, very service oriented. He is a Lions Club member. He is also serving on the foundation board for CHI currently. Those are some of the ways that he has demonstrated his service in our community, and I greatly applaud him for those efforts and appreciate his work. He also is a long-term community member. He was born and raised in Williston. And another positive is that he seems to have the time and energy and freedom necessary to invest the necessary, that was a little redundant, but to invest the time needed to do a good job as mayor. He retired from a commercial banking position about a year ago, and he mentioned that in part he retired at that time to gear up to hopefully step into this role, is what he said. Another positive about James is his openness to dialogue. He seems very accessible to the people, easygoing. I would say that for all of the candidates who were willing to sit down with me, I think a lot of people would have brushed me off because I don't have, this is a new channel. I don't have followers. They might think, well, what's the point? But James mentioned to me when I've met with him and visited with him that he sees I'm a constituent and he wants to be accessible to constituents. So that's why he said yes to my request to sit down with him for a conversation. So I very much appreciated that. And just in visiting with him one-on-one, very approachable and easy to talk to. We didn't agree on everything. I will say that he probably is more moderate or left-leaning on some of the social issues that came up. However, I do appreciate his accessibility. Another positive I see with James is that he has recently been an advocate of tightening up the purse strings with public safety. So one of his roles, his primary role on the city commission, each of the commissioners has a portfolio that they oversee, and that portfolio consists of one or more departments within the city. And so James' portfolio has been overseeing the police and fire departments these last few years. And that topic, especially of the fire department and their spending, but also of police department spending, has been a little bit more at the forefront of our community dialogue about city government recently. And I guess I do want to just acknowledge that the current commission has started, from my observation, to tighten up the purse strings on police and fire recently. Now, do I think they could do more as a whole to be more fiscally conservative, and would I advocate for that? Yes, but I do appreciate that they have started to right the ship, so to speak, and James has held firm with that amid some pushback at times from the community. Now I'd like to shift gears to a couple of the drawbacks that I see of James Bervig as we consider who to vote for that mayoral position. I alluded to it before, but James does seem unwilling to take a conservative stance on social issues. And I won't delve into all of these issues here because in a separate video I delve a little more into these specific issues. But here I would just broadly say some of my concerns where you do see this disagreement about how to approach and make decisions in terms of conservative and liberal at the city level is our local library, along with many libraries across our nation, from my observations, at times has been used as a place for what I would call leftist activism. And James didn't seem too concerned about that, which is disappointing to me. Also, another issue that I have been vocal to our current city commission about for a few years now is how the department heads' salaries are determined. From what I understand, years ago, having talked with the previous HR director, Sherry Perazina, there were some modifications made to how the department heads were compensated. And from my vantage point, those changes were from a DEI mentality, which I don't agree with. And so I've encouraged the current city commission to take another look at how our department heads are compensated. They have not yet done that, and so that's been disappointing, and James doesn't seem motivated to make any changes on that front either. So those are a couple of the more social issues, but they also have, especially the department head salary, obviously that has a fiscal component to it. And one of the drawbacks, again, is just his unwillingness to take a common sense conservative stance on those issues. Another drawback is that I feel like James isn't wanting to make a lot of changes. Now, I don't want to fault our current city commission. I think there's a lot of things that they are doing well, and we need to give them credit for those things they're doing well. However, to have served on the city commission for 4 years and not see some things that you really want to change moving forward, that does concern me a little bit, because I feel like you can always do things to make things better. And when I asked James what changes he would like to make if elected, it didn't seem like there was anything that really stood out to him. Now, there were little things throughout the course of our one-on-one conversation that he did mention he would be open to. For instance, communication with the public. I had brought up the idea a few years ago to the previous city administrator, just asking if perhaps the city commission would publish a report each year to the public on what their land holdings are and clarify what land they have disposed of in the previous year and who it was sold to, and also if they acquired any land, what the intent of that acquisition was. So that was one of the things that I mentioned and just asked James input on, and he acknowledged that, yeah, he thought that would be something beneficial. So again, just a little, maybe he sees a little bit of room for improvement with communication with the public, a little more accountability and transparency based on his response to that suggestion. But overall, I did feel like there weren't a lot of major changes that he sees a need to make if elected to that mayoral position. And that I would say that is a drawback to considering him for that position. So that all said, thank you for your time, and those are my thoughts on James Bervig and his bid for the mayoral position, and I encourage you to check out the other videos for the other candidates. Thank you so much for your time. Take care.